They are some of the most popular and flashy TV evangelists in the country, and they travel, well, like kings.
But when it comes to luxurious travel,
are you seeing this? I hope so. You bought it.
very few people can beat Kenneth Copeland. He even has his own airport next to his lovely mansion in Newark, Texas.
Here's a fun topic. Pastors who live luxurious lives and fly private.
I've read a good portion of the Bible, and I don't know. No, like, I'm not saying I'm smarter than everyone. If you read the Bible and you have a general understanding of it, when a guy comes to you and he's like, listen, the Lord about them gains, okay? I think it makes it easier for you to be like, oh, I think this guy is full of shit.
As analyzed by the great comedian Josh Johnson.
Why you don't want to fly commercial? Why have you said that you won't fly commercial? You said that it's like getting into a tube with a bunch of demons. How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business, but...
Isn't it the business of your donors?
Listen, I paid. Tyler's one of the greatest guys. He made that airplane so cheap for me, I couldn't help but buy it.
You said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, but principalities and powers.
Freaky. Anyway, here's Johnson.
That's a scary thing, though, is that, like, there's a blurred line now, blurred almost to the point of being indistinguishable between, like, pastors and influencers. You know what I mean? Like a pastor used to be, at least where I come from, a pastor used to at least be poor. You know what I mean? When a pastor is poor, they're very easy to believe. Because you see how poor they are, and they're like, oh, you really about that life. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like a poor pastor is like it's like a gang member that has been shot a few times, where you can see the lumps.
Fair analogy here, and it will only get better, I promise.
The main reason was I could no longer do what I called to do and be on the airlines. Besides that, I need my clothes when I get there.
And you have some fancy clothes. I mean,
do.
for a pastor, you are living a life of luxury. You've got great homes, you've got great planes, you drive in limos.
I'm a very wealthy man.
You're a very wealthy man.
Yes.
Let's expound upon this point as well.
A rich pastor has a more alluring argument. Because a rich pastor rolls up in a Rolls Royce in a $10,000 suit with a $200,000 watch and a pinky ring. Like, the amount of pastors dressing like pimps needs to be talked about. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's too many wires crossing with, like, I'll see a pastor dressed like fully like Don Bishop Juan, and I'll be like, oh yes, you are pimping your congregation. Like, I get, like, yes.
That's exactly it. All these dudes who are of the same ilk as televangelists, Kenneth Copeland and Joel Osteen, are pimping their congregations and living the life of luxury, just as Jesus wanted, though, of course.
To those critics that say that a preacher should not be living a life of luxury, what is your response to that?
They're wrong.
That's it?
That it's a misunderstanding of the Bible that if you go into the Old Covenant, do you think the Jewish people believe you should be broke?
Are you saying that Jewish people appreciate money more than... Really?
They believe in wealth.
Some people would find that offensive.
Yes, including me, a Jewish person. Thank you to Lisa Guerrero for checking him throughout this interview.
And in their faces too, you're brazen with it because you dress rich in front of them and they're poor to make you rich. And wow, that is ballsy. Maybe you do have God's protection. And then you tell them what you buy. If you see these televangelists, they tell the people what they bought with the money that they said was going to missions. There are lots of things and ways that churches spend money that I do think are good. And so when I see like a mega church's facilities, I'm not immediately skeptical. It's when I see the person and he's dressed so much like a pimp. They're millionaires in your face and they're telling you, I have all this stuff because, because God blessed me with this jet. I purchased this jet for the Lord. So I could fly from place to place quicker, spreading the message. And I would even believe that if we didn't have Zoom.
To be clear, Copeland has, according to reporting that dates back to 2019, not one, not two, but 3 jets. Why does a pastor need 3 jets? Well, we know why.
Both of my grandfathers were preachers. They were both very poor. They lived simple, modest lives. They were extremely offended by men that made money like you do, preaching like you do. What would your response be to people that think that preachers shouldn't live this kind of a lifestyle? Folks like both my grandfathers.
And I understand that. And I love them with all my heart. It's your grandfathers that we're standing on their shoulders. They held up and they stood for it. Glory to God. But when you go back to the Bible, it's full of wealth.
Like talking to a wall. A rich, wealthy, damn near $1 billion wall.
I do think that there's something that speaks to these pastors, but I think what has happened is that they have mistaken God for their intrusive thoughts. As individuals, every single one of us here, if we were to lead a congregation and we were to pass around a jar or a plate, collection plate, anything like that, and everybody gave something because we made a compelling case that it is your job as a citizen of the world to help people that you may never meet, right? And then church is over. Everybody leaves. And then you go to the back office where they have piled up all the money and you do look at it and go, we rich. I mean, wow.
Hey, I appreciate you watching. Now, if you can, please do become a channel member by going to youtube.com/TYTsports and clicking the join button. If that's too much for you, you can just go to tyt.com/join to become a member. It helps all of us out here at the Young Turks and keeps our network afloat. In addition, you could follow me on my socials on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate the love. Have a great day.